dear brothers and sisters. As those photograph shows, Dr. Raisi and Dr. Sain were close friends of Sri Lanka. And I can say with a lot of reminiscence, I was one of the co-architects with the former foreign minister in recently building that relationship. So I am honored to be part of this commemoration today. Assalamu alaikum. We gather here today with a profound sense of sorrow, respect, and remembrance as we mark 2 years since the passing of His Excellency Ayatollah Ibrahim Raisi, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Dr. Hossein Amir Abdullah Hain, his distinguished foreign minister and my personal friend. He addressed me as my brother, and I addressed him as my brother. For many years, for many of us who had the privilege of knowing them personally, this is not merely a commemoration. It is a moment of deep personal reflection on lives that left a lasting mark on the nation they served and the friendship they built. I had the honor of meeting both President Raisi and Foreign Minister Amir Abdullah Hain during my tenure as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, both in Tehran and most memorably during President Raisi's visit, which you saw now, to Sri Lanka. That visit came at an extraordinarily difficult moment for our country, and it produced something enduring: the inauguration of the Uma Oya Multipurpose Development Project, a symbol of partnership that continues to benefit Sri Lankan to this day. But before I speak on that, allow me to speak of the men themselves. In diplomacy and in public life, one encounters many leaders. Some are remembered because of the office they held. Others are remembered because the character they carried. President Raisi and Dr. Amir Abdullah Hain belong firmly to the latter because of their character. President Raisi was a man of calm dignity, humility, and quiet strength. Despite leading a nation facing extraordinary geopolitical pressure and economic challenges, often very unfair, he carried himself with composure and conviction. What struck me most was his sincerity and his deep, unfeigned concern for ordinary people. I recall him speaking not about power or prestige, but about the welfare of farmers, of families, of those whom government so often forget. He believed strongly in national dignity, sovereignty, and justice, and he represented a generation of leaders who held the nations of the global south must engage in one another on the basis of mutual respect and equality, never dependency or domination. Dr. Amir Abdullah Hain was equally exceptional. He was not only the experienced diplomat, but an intellectual statesman, combining clarity of thought, strategic understanding, and immense personal warmth. In every interaction I had with him, he displayed the professionalism, kindness, and genuine friendship towards Sri Lanka. I remember him once remarking that true diplomacy is built not on what two nations want from each other, but on what they are willing to give each other. He lived by that principle. He understood the relationship endure when they are grounded in historical goodwill, mutual trust, and long-term partnership, not in transactional interest alone. I remember when Sri Lanka was negotiating IMF, 3 days into the IMF board meeting, the current governor called me and told me, we need to get the letters from Iran of no objection for debt restructuring. I was traveling. I was in London. I called him from London. He was in Tehran. I told him, my brother, I need your help, a personal one. Without that, IMF first tranche will probably postpone for another 2 months. That would have been disaster for Sri Lanka at that point in time. He told me, look, brother, there are 312 million US dollars of your loan for 12 years pending. I need some sort of an answer. I said, I can't give an answer now. This is very urgent, but I will come back to you in 2 months with the proposal. And Alhamdulillah, he said, I'll take your word and I'll some or other convince my ministry. And 2 days later, the letter came. That's the kind of a man he was. I personally miss him. Great person. And as I promised, I went back to the cabinet. I structured a deal for barter program from tea to payment. So Petroleum Corporation pay the tea board. Tea board purchased the tea, and tea is being exported to Iran. I hope by now, probably this would have come down to about less than 150 million US dollars from about 312 million. So I take pride. We were able to find a practical solution for both sides, a win-win situation. So ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka will always remember with gratitude and support extended by the Islamic Republic of Iran during one of the most difficult periods in our modern history. When Sri Lanka faced severe economic crisis and undertook painful reforms and debt restructuring under IMF program, Iran extended understanding, patience, and cooperation. Such gestures are never forgotten by nations going through hardship. President Raisi's visit was therefore deeply meaningful. It sent a powerful message of solidarity at a moment when Sri Lanka needed the most. And at the heart of this visit was Uma Oya, which you saw. Uma Oya was not merely a development project. It was a culmination of years of partnership, engineering collaboration, and goodwill between our two nations. Today, it contributes to irrigation, power generation, drinking water, agriculture, and improvement of the livelihoods of thousands of Sri Lankan families. Long after the speeches fade, political moment pass, Uma Oya continues to deliver water to the fields and light to homes. That is the truest measure of international friendship, not what it is promised at podium, but what is built and left behind. I vividly remember the dignity and warmth with which President Raisi engaged with Sri Lankan leaders and people during that visit, which you saw a moment ago. There was humility in his conduct and sincerity in his word. He was not a man performing leadership. He was a man living it. The tragic passing of President Raisi and former Foreign Minister Amir Abdullah Hain was therefore not merely a national tragedy for Iran. It was a loss felt across the region and among many nations that valued principled leadership, strategic independence, and steadfast friendship. In a world increasingly marked by polarization, conflict, and mistrust, leaders who can combine conviction with restraint, strength with humility, and national interest with respect for others become increasingly rare, and their absence is felt all the more keenly. Their lives remind us that the leadership is ultimately not about title, power, or ceremony. Leadership is about service. It's about sacrifice. It's about remaining committed to one's people and principle, even especially during difficult times. As Muslims who believe that those who dedicate their lives to the service and justice are never truly gone, we find comfort and solace in the words of Holy Quran, which I'll quote. Do not regard those who are slain in the cause of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving His sustenance. Surah Al Imran, verse 169. This commemoration is therefore not only about mourning a loss. It is about honoring service, sacrifice, friendship, and enduring principle, and recommitting ourselves to the value they so faithfully represented. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka and Iran share a long-standing relationship built on mutual respect, historical friendship, and cooperation across many sectors. It has endured political changes, global tensions, and difficult moments because it has always been grounded in sincerity and goodwill. I'm confident it will continue to deepen in the years to come. As we remember President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullah Hain, Today, let us honor not only their memories, but the values they embodied: dignity, resilience, courage, faith, service, and loyalty to their nation and the people. May Allah grant them the highest place in Jannah. May their memories continue to inspire future generation of leaders. May the friendship between Sri Lanka and Iran continue to flourish in peace, mutual respect, and cooperation. I will be failing if I do not speak a couple of words about the endurance and the bravery of the Iranian nation against this untold hardship and an unjust war waged against them for no reason whatsoever at the behest of Israel. So therefore, entire world, I think 95% of the world, including the population in America, understand this is an unjust war. No reasonable country could have done this, and only Israel was capable of doing it. And as I recently told in a media operation, only President Trump could have got the bait from Prime Minister Netanyahu. I hope this will come to a closure soon, bring peace to people of Iran and the region and to the world. And they say when elephant fights, it is the grass that get trampled. Look at what we are going through for no reason of us. So therefore, I hope this war comes to an end and people of the region and people of Iran and people of all the countries derive the dividends of peace. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.